NBC's coverage of the Ford 400 is brought to you by the all-new Ford Fusion, coming to NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing in 2006. By Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR. This is Budweiser. This is beer. By Speed Pass from Exxon and Mobil. And by Aflac. Ask about it at work. Less than a lap from the restart here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Tony Stewart's team picked him up 2 spots on the pit stop despite taking the time to put the spring rubber in. Greg, you fell back quite a bit just before the caution. Talk to me about the progress of your race so far.
Home Depot Chevrolet is just too tight. We got a little gun shy the other night and didn't know if it was just because it's so damp here. The racetrack actually seemed like it lost a little grip for us, so we probably tightened it up too much to start the race. But we needed to get him back comfortable, build his confidence up. Now we'll try and be as aggressive as we can with the adjustments the rest of the night.
Thanks, Greg. The other night he's talking about Friday night practice after dark here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Tony Stewart spun out, didn't hit anything, but spun out. That is what's made him a little gun shy.
And some of the guys in the garage here this morning was wondering why the 20 car didn't change engines, because during the spin they were concerned about the rear wheels might have spun backwards. And why didn't they change engines, Alan?
Benny, because they'd had to start at the back of the pack, and I talked to Greg Zipadelli. They took the engine apart a pretty good bit, looked at all the videotape of the incident, looked at the engine pieces, did not think they turned the engine over backwards. Tony had his foot on the clutch as soon as it went around, so they figured they're just fine there.
Good, thank you, Alan.
This is an impound race. Now for the lead, Ryan Newman under Casey Mears.
Hey, Newman's been pretty strong in his restarts this weekend.
Yeah, just ask Greg Biffle last night.
How good he is.
NASCAR Busch Series race.
Newman with a late pass, with a pass on a late restart. Beat Biffle for the Busch Series win last night. Teams practiced here on Friday, 2 practice sessions. Both were delayed by rain. Second one was early evening, right about this time, actually. And the cars qualified yesterday and were impounded by NASCAR for today's race.
Jeff Gordon trying to get under Mark Martin. Mark was trying to pin him down on the low side. It's Kyle Petty down there in the 45 car. Mark has got him where he wants him, but really needs to get by Kyle.
Kyle is not on the lead lap. Racing Jeff Green, his teammate, the lucky dog, along with Michael Waltrip.
I tell you what, it's got to make Tony Stewart nervous, riding behind all this stuff and watching these guys dicing back and forth on these restarts.
Tony back in the 14th position.
Like I said, right behind all these guys dicing. They're trying to go by the 17 car, Matt Kenseth.
Meanwhile, up front, Mears and Newman continue to battle for the lead.
Casey's got a pretty good car tonight.
He does. It's like Texas all over again. I think it's terrific that these guys, one has the 2005 Dodge and Ryan Newman has the 2004. Trying to figure out which one is the best.
Alan?
Bill, you know, we talked about there being a lot of different agendas in the race tonight. This is Casey Mears' last drive in this 41 car. He moves to one of the other teams within the Ganassi Racing with Felix Zavada's organization starting for next February. He wants to go out in style. He wants to have a good run. Most of all, he wants to get his first Nextel Cup win. He thinks he can do it tonight.
Marty? Alan, Ryan Newman needs to take advantage of this while he can. Car very good in the early part of the run. Falls off a whole lot at the end of the run. They were tight on that last run. They made 3 separate changes to the 12 car, trying to get it loosened up at the end of the run. But even though he's good at the beginning part of the run, doesn't seem like he can catch the 41 right here, Matt.
And Mark Martin at 6, looking ahead to the final pit stop at this juncture. They can make it on one more stop. He wants to tighten the car up just a tick. Now, they didn't make any adjustments on the last stop. The car is good, but he's looking ahead, trying to stay ahead of the racetrack as it changes for that final run to the finish.
And let's update Tony Stewart's situation.
He has been able to get by Matt Kenseth. He's moved up to the 13th position, so it looks like that his car is going forward, but that's what we've seen all night long. When they change tires and tires are fresh, he runs about as quick as anyone. But as the farther they go, the slower he gets, Alan.
Yeah, just a couple things here, BP. First of all, Greg Zipadelli just telling Tony about a lap ago, we've got to make this last for a while, so take care of it. That's one thing. The other thing is, under the caution before the restart, Greg, for the first time all night, did tell Tony the situation on the racetrack. With Jimmy Johnson out, we need to finish 20th or better. Reminded Tony of where they stand as far as the running order.
Thanks, Alan. Right now, Stewart is 13th. And Carl Edwards runs 3rd.
Yeah, well, I don't think for long.
Yeah, he's trying to contest that second spot pretty strong right now, is Carl Edwards.
Again, his car is not very good on restarts.
Right, takes a little time to get, to get the things going on that thing, but once he gets about 15 or 20 laps on that car, he is fast. Marty. Well, Wally Allen was talking about keeping your driver apprised of the championship situation. Remember we told you at the top of the show, Carl Edwards does not want to know what's going on with everyone else. There's been no mention of Jimmy Johnson on the radio, no mention of Tony Stewart tonight, only about their race car, what they need to do. They're trying to lock up the bonus points for leading the most laps. Carl wants to get back to the front and pull off this win. You bet, Marty, that there's really nothing he can do. I mean, he has to go out and win this race and let the chips fall where they may with everybody else. All he needs to do is go out and win, and then he's done his job.
And his car will get better as the race goes along. Ryan Newman's going to try and get inside of Casey Mears. Edwards watches the battle.